Some 20 years ago when I wrote about this guy getting into the Pro Football Hall of Fame, I said to myself, maybe the CFL Hall of Fame will recognize him in the near future. And 2003 rolled around, 2006, 2009, 2013, 2017, 2018, and finally, in 2021, and early of this year, he was finally called to the Canadian Football Hall of Fame. Now, for a lot of people in the States and maybe listening to this podcast, this guy had good success in college before he came to the CFL, and had greater success, I think, with the Bills by getting in 4 straight Super Bowls. But what he did with the Montreal Alouettes is just so tremendous. And Marv Levy, my God, what a great coach. Now, again, coming from these college ranks, he had a very strong head coaching career. Again, in New Mexico for the Lobos, the California Golden Bears, the Atlantic Association of Western Universities, William Mary Indians of the Southern Conference. Now, he turned to the pro ranks in the NFL. Now, he was a kicking team coach for the Eagles before joining George Allen's staff as a special teams coach for the Rams in 1970. Now, he eventually followed Allen to Washington. Now, as a lot of people know, George Allen was going to be taking over Montreal in some facets before he fell through. Now, in 1971, he served as the Redskins special teams coach for 2 seasons. Levy graduated to coach the Montreal Alouettes for 5 seasons, and boy, what a 5 seasons it was. He was Grey Cup champion in 74 in BC against the Eskimos, lost the 75 title, but won the Ice Bowl in 1977, where in front of 70,000 fans is the closest that the CFL ever came to the NFL. Tremendous match. Tony Proudfoot and the rest of the smart Alouettes put staples in their sneakers. He won 41-6 against the dynasty Edmonton Eskimos, and Edmonton was so knocked out by the defeat, they used Warren Moon to win 5 straight Grey Cups afterwards. Now, he made it to 3 Grey Cups, including 78, as well as 2 championships, and he won the Anis Stutkus Coach of the Year Award in 1974. Now, when he returned to the NFL in 78 as head coach of the Kansas City Chiefs, he brought his prowess there. But according to the Canadian Football Hall of Fame press release, which came out in April, Marv Levy made excellence a habit. Now, again, he was named head coach of the Alouettes in 1973, following coaching stints in the NFL and NCAA. The Alouettes appeared in the playoffs in all 5 seasons he coached, and because of this, Levy is distinct company. He's only the 3rd person to be enshrined in both the Canadian Football Hall of Fame Museum in Hamilton and the Pro Football Hall of Fame in Canton. The latter has recognized Levy for leading the Bills again to 4 consecutive Super Bowl appearances, but only Bud Grant, of course, a Minnesota Vikings coach and did well in the CFL, and the great Warren Moon, the greatest quarterback probably that, besides Doug Flutie, that the CFL has ever had, will be joining them. Now, Levy will be enshrined in ceremonies around Grey Cup weekend in the fall, because obviously with the 2020 cancellation of the season, they couldn't do it. Now, again, the formal induction will be held in Hamilton the Grey Cup week in November, and it brings the Hall of Fame to 316 members. Now, the 2021 class, besides Levy, will include defensive lineman Will Johnson and Mike Walker, wide receiver Nick Lewis, defensive backs Orlando Steinhauer and Don Wilson. In the builder category, besides Levy, it will be Doug Mitchell, the 6th CFL commissioner, a beautiful individual. Now, the 2020 class was announced last year, but his induction was postponed because of the COVID-19 pandemic. That ceremony, again, is now scheduled, was held August 6th in Hamilton. Class of 2020 comprises Clyde Brock, Henry Burris, Freddie Childress, John Huffnagel, Larry Utek, and Greg Vavra. Now, the induction, again, recognized a very significant era of the CFL when the Montreal Alouettes, again, were the closest thing we had to an NFL team. They were getting upwards of 5 million viewers a week on the myriad of channels, including CTV, CBC, and SRC that were showing their games. Now, his first season with Montreal, he was 7-6-1, third in the East, and he lost the Ottawa Rough Riders in the East Final. But 74, on the backs of Sonny Wade and Johnny Rogers, they went 9-5-2 and 2-0 and 2-0 in the playoffs, and he won over Edmonton again in the Grey Cup. 75, 9-7, lost to the Edmonton Eskimos 9-8 in that defensive battle in the 75 Grey Cup. 76, he finished third in the East, but lost to Hamilton in the East semifinal. That was the only year that he finished under 500. Now 77, 11-5 record, again first in the East, or second division title, 2-0 in the playoffs, and again the 41-6 win over Edmonton in the 65th Grey Cup, arguably the most memorable. So overall, 43-31-4 in the regular season, 7-3 in the playoffs, and 2 Grey Cup titles. Now, just as a reminder, everybody, he coached USFL, Chicago Blitz, coached KC for 5 years, coached Buffalo from 86 to 97. And again, we all know he won 6 AFC East titles, 4 in a row, and again 4 Super Bowl losses back to back to the Giants, Redskins, and twice to the Cowboys. Now, Marv Levy's Buffalo totals 112-70, NFL totals 143-112, and overall Major Pro 186-143-4. Now, if anybody knows him as well, he's also an honored member of the Iowa Sports Hall of Fame. Great location, as we say, and I think back of what he's done for veterans, for what he's done of alumni of the NFL, of the CFL. Marv Levy, I always say, he's a winner no matter what he's done. But if he would have won an NFL title, a Super Bowl, I wouldn't have been surprised. But the thing is, the opposition he went up against. But he was the ultimate motivator. He was a U.S. Army Air Forces veteran, served from 43 to 46. And let me tell you something, ladies and gentlemen. What an outstanding individual. We look at the quality people as journalists, and the native Chicago, Illinois. He's 96, and if anybody can live a life like he has, he's 96, but what he's done for football on many levels, basically a role model, a motivator. But I remember that 9-8 loss to Edmonton, where Sweet missed a field goal, where our quarterback made sort of like did a Tony Romo, and they missed the kick. He never screamed, he never yelled. He was that type of guy. But I know if you look at some NFL films, he doesn't like the refs sometimes. But my God, what a pleasure covering this guy. I've never met him, but if I ever do, I say, listen, it wasn't hard to write about Marv Levy, because win or lose, he's a winner. Because a winner, you're surrounded by success, emotionally, physically, spiritually, mentally, and he's a success. If you look in the dictionary, you're looking at success, it's Marv Levy. And I love the guy. I'm a Montreal Alouettes fan. That's what we do. We love Marv Levy. We love our Sonny Wades. Don Sweet, some bad situations. But like I said, Dickie Harris, Randy Rhino, Nick Araki, Junior Ayu, Peter Dallariva, on and on and on and on. And he was part of that legacy. Joe Barnes, Tony Proudfoot, Larry Smith, it's on and on. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, if you like what we're doing here, we're a vintage Montreal Alouettes podcast. Let us know with a like, comment, or subscribe. The requests are always taken and heavily appreciated. Have a good evening. Bye.